First, the Niners are running out of time to make a decision at quarterback. Should they gamble on Trey Lance's high ceiling? Should the Dallas Cowboys make Dak a very happy man by drafting Kyle Pitts at 10? And time to fire up the GOAT conversation. Can Mahomes ever catch Tom Brady? Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolf along with, my girl, Joy Taylor. In for Nick today, we got Brandon, we got Kevin. There she is, wide awake out there on the West Coast. But Brandon, I'll start with you.
Joy.
Hold on, I got to ask you, how far do you think Mahomes has to go to catch Tom Brady, the GOAT? I'm looking for an actual number here, like 7, like a real
Jenna,
number.
Patrick Mahomes Jr., Patrick Mahomes III, Tom Brady Jr. Nobody will ever catch Tom Brady. Nobody. Ever. No
Impossibility.
Chance.
He's going with the old impossibility.
No chance.
All right, everyone, we got to start in Brooklyn, though. The team that once boasted a big 3 is now boasting a partial 2. It's really just a solid 1. Let's face it. James Harden is now out indefinitely after suffering a setback with that hamstring during a rehab session on Monday. KD is already working through a thigh contusion. He's listed as day-to-day. Now this big news that Harden might not be back until the postseason. The injury bug bites Brooklyn yet again. Here's head coach Steve Nash.
We're back to square one. We'll rehabilitate him and get him back whenever we can. And who knows when that'll be, but we'll support James and we'll support our performance team in getting him back and in his best condition as possible, and hopefully that comes sooner than later, but that there's no guarantee. So we just keep chipping away, we keep moving forward, and we hope for a speedy recovery.
All right, so wrap your head around this. James Harden has played more games and minutes with the Rockets this season than he has with KD and Kyrie together in Brooklyn. Those 7 games we keep talking about, it's pretty shocking. Brandon, I'll start with you. At this point, how concerned should Nets fans be? Are you concerned? You're a Nets fan.
What? Good morning, Joy. Good morning. Listen,
Good morning.
I'm glad you're on this show and not Nick Wright, because, we've been having these big conversations all year about the Nets and the big 3. Can they get it done? Or do they have the chemistry continuity needed? Defense, et cetera, like all this stuff. Look, here's the deal, and I'll admit it. I am finally concerned. I'm not only concerned, I'm also frustrated. As a fan, all we want to see is the big 3 together. That's all we want to see. Look, we understand the big picture. We understand the finals and making it to the playoffs, but we want to enjoy the moment right now. The league has never seen 3 of the greatest players, prolific scorers together, like in the moment. That's all we want to see. The playoffs are about adjustments. I called my buddy Justin Zermello, who's a huge trainer, trained KD, trained some of the top guys in the NBA. And he said, B, the problem is when you get to the playoffs, this is a half-court game. You slow it down. These guys got to start communicate. What happens on the defensive side? Now, yes, they went from the bottom of the pack to a mid-tier pack defense, but when you talk about communicating and, hey, go here, go there, and opening up the court, when things break down, where do you go? Like, they don't have that rhythm. And then the biggest thing, Joy, in Wilds is this, is like, if they've been banged up all year, what information do we have to say that when they do get back, that they won't get banged up in the playoffs? So yes, I am concerned, I am frustrated, because all we want to see is these 3 guys together. And basically what we're talking about is, can an all-star team essentially beat a team? That's what we're talking about now. These guys getting healthy right before the playoffs, coming together and beating the Milwaukee Bucks and beating, the 76ers. Those guys have been together and built in chemistry and continuity. So, Joy, thank you for being on the show, because I feel comfortable being able to say that I'm now concerned and frustrated.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm sure I'm going to be kinder about the Nets than Nick would be, but I'm with you. I'm also very concerned, and for all those reasons you mentioned. Also, while Harden has been very durable throughout his career, he has fizzled out late in playoff games. He doesn't have a great game seven, statistical record. So he's somebody that you want to have full speed, fully healthy, going late into the playoffs, which is what this team is built for. I understand from your perspective, we do obviously want to see the big three for the Nets play together, but this is a team that's built for the postseason. They're not built for regular season awards. They're not concerned about winning MVPs. They're a team that was assembled to win a championship. They are a super team that bought their way into it, or however you want to look at it. I don't look at it that way. I love it. I'm here for all the anarchy, all the storylines, all the drama, but I don't want to see the injuries because we want to see the stars in the playoffs. And to your point, only playing 7 games together, you really can't get that chemistry going. The playoffs is not a place where you want to try and build chemistry because not only are the playoffs about adjustments, you're talking about teams who are game planning for you specifically night after night in 7-game series, and they are going to design their game plan around exploiting what you do the worst. And if you're not healthy, then you don't have that chemistry going. They remind me a lot of the Clippers last year. I fully bought into the Clippers. I have a tendency to like shiny new things. It's a problem. I'm working on it. But I bought into the Clippers last year, and that was a problem with them when you got into the playoffs. They didn't have the chemistry. The one thing I will say about the Nets that I don't feel the same way about the Clippers is I feel like the Nets might have more leadership. Obviously, Kevin Durant is a 2-time champion, 2-time NBA Finals MVP. Kyrie has a ring. We know what Steve Nash brings to the table. And they have a lot of veterans on this team, but none of that can replace on-the-court work and chemistry and being fully healthy. So I'm extremely concerned.
Well, Joy, I am glad that you were here today because you witnessed the rarest of occurrences. Brandon Marshall finally admitting that he was worried about the Nets. And as soon as I saw this news, I said, uh-oh, Brandon, this is going to be the thing that makes Brandon nervous because outside of just being a television star and a businessman and an entrepreneur, he also dabbles in being a part-time doctor / soft tissue expert. And anytime there's a little ankle tweak or a hamstring or a quad, Brandon's like, that's not good. That's not good. In 2014, Jay Cutler tweaked my hamstring and I was out for this many days. And when you kind of said, that's going to be bad. So here's the reason why I think Brandon is nervous. Because minutes restrictions and championship drives don't mix at all. They don't. We know that Kawhi had that horrible, people killed Kawhi for load managing with the Raptors. He's load managing. But when you got to the playoffs, Kawhi played 24 games. He played 39 minutes a game. However the Nets come back, they are not going to be 100%, and Steve Nash will still be managing their minutes, and that's going to be a problem for them and probably kill their championship hopes, Jenna.
And also, I don't necessarily trust when they all come back together. I don't trust right now when Kevin Durant is on the court. He's had so many different kinds of injuries, not to the same part of his leg, that I don't trust that he's going to stay healthy. And now you have another setback with James Harden. I don't trust that he's going to be 100% when he gets back. And if I'm being honest, I don't fully trust that Kyrie's all there the rest of the way. So, Brandon, are the Nets, do you think, still title contenders if it is only going to be 2 of the 3? If it's maybe 1 of the 3? Yeah, they're playing great right now and they haven't had all 3, but how much do you trust that they could still win the title if it's 1 or 2 of the big 3?
Listen, I'm not Chris Broussard, and I'm not going to be a fair weather fan and go game to game. Look, I'm concerned. I'm frustrated. But the reality is they're still a title contender. So, yes, they are. Why? Because when you look at KD and James Harden, they played together. They made it to the finals back in OKC. You look at KD and Kyrie's chemistry. It's phenomenal. These guys, all 3 of them, played on the Olympic team and won. Yesterday, nobody's talking about it, but they signed the best point guard in international basketball, Mike James. So these are reasons to believe this is what gives us Brooklyn Nets fans hope. Like, these guys still can get it done. And when they play together, I know it's a small sample size. We're talking about 7 games, 183 minutes. You showed it earlier. They look phenomenal. They look good. But it's not enough to tell us if they can go on an amazing run. And then another thing, and I'm glad Nick's not here to argue me down on this, because he always talk about Steve Nash. He's immature as a coach. Blah, blah, blah. They are in a weak Eastern Conference with a veteran coaching staff. So those are reasons to believe. I absolutely see these guys making it out of the